to expand what could become the first $1 trillion company.
Just look at the water rushing past my feet right now. Open 24 hours, 7 days a week. And if it's an emergency, we've been using credit cards this morning to clean off the front of our lens because we keep getting ice that's accumulating.
But you might be wondering, does this even work? You have to go back 45 years to 1973.
The Cat Metro train going by right now.
Many believe the rhyme originated in 1557. People will come here to maybe catch some catfish, some bass. Well, nothing's going on right now. This is one of the many roads that's currently shut down because of water that just won't go away. These creatures got into some of our Austin water pipes, causing smelly, stinky water. That's why this center will develop technology you won't see on the battlefield anytime soon.
I know y'all were saying the last hour, for me to get in on the action, I left my Speedo back, back in my apartment. So I guess I'll have to try it next time, right? Next time. We'll figure it out, okay?
What a shame.
And mercury and bromine are the only two elements at room temperature that are liquid.
You still need to be diligent, looking out for packages, looking out for objects that might be suspicious, so that the explosion that happened today that took the life of the man who's been setting off these bombs, that this explosion will be the last.
Halloween is one of Texas' most celebrated holidays, and while it is a day filled with costumes and candy, that hasn't always been the case. Halloween dates back almost 2,000 years when pagans called it Samhain, a holiday marking the end of harvest season and the beginning of winter. Even though Texas isn't this old, some of our traditions and lore date back over 100 years. Out in West Texas for more than a century, many have spoken about the glowing yellowish-white lights you can spot on US 90 between Alpine and Marfa. TxDOT even created the Marfa Mystery Lights Viewing Center, one of the oddest roadside monuments in the state. In Fort Worth, there's the 1960s tale, The Goat Man of Lake Worth.
Some who have seen it say it looks like a half man, half goat.
A crowd of people at this lake in July of 1969 say they saw this 7-foot, 350-pound creature.
It was hairy and I couldn't see his face. It was in the dark.
It was up there on those cliffs and it'd stay up there running back and forth.
He's said to be as mean as a rabid pit bull. And this myth eventually inspired a play, even a short story. And today, it remains a living legend. And in Austin, you just have to go to the Johnson home. It was built in 1858 by Charles Johnson. His family lived here for generations. But today, some staff members say when they are cleaning up or closing down, you are never truly alone. One time, someone even saying they spotted footprints on the upstairs floor. So obviously, there are many different tales in many different Texas cities that have been around for generations. But this year, in 2018, don't let today's Halloween story scare you too much.
For this group, listening to music is about a lot more than relaxing or passing the time.
It's a way to teach our clients to use music as an emotional regulation tool.
What about If I Die Tonight, like the actual title of it?
This is Recovery Unplugged, a music-based rehab facility for people like Gavin Haregrove.
Started smoking weed and getting drunk when I was 15 and pretty much completed the gateway theory.
Addicted to both heroin and meth, Haregrove had a near-fatal overdose that pushed him to give Recovery Unplugged a shot.
Kind of like just pissed away everything in my life, and so I'm just basically trying to start my life over, get established in Austin.
Focusing his attention on his healthy outlet.
It still resonates with me somehow.
Music.
This is like just a reminder of what drives me.
Same goes for Drew Venna, who used to be in Haregrove's shoes at this center. Now sober, he's back performing for patients, and he's a living example that this works.
It's very rare that you find a treatment center that's involved in music like this.
At this rehab, music is used to heal.
To have a place that was going to nurture the creativity that I feel I'd
want to express.
And it's not just them. The stats, well, they back them up too. Based on a 3-year independent study, Recovery Unplugged patients remain sober at nearly 6 times the national average.
We push the clients to get vulnerable and express themselves in ways that they're not comfortable with.
Joseph Gorodo is a recovering addict, as are most of the people on his staff. He says he wants the music to not only help patients tap into their emotions, but give them a source of creativity.
The music is a way to key in to somebody's soul, is what I believe.
And there's a science to it.
It does develop a bit of a sense of agency.
What Dr. Bob Duke of the Butler School of Music means is it allows addicts to feel a sense of power or control over notes and chords.
If you're feeling like, I'm just helpless, I'm just I succumb to all of these things that I can't really overcome. And now you find, well, at least in this one place here, I'm not helpless.
And in this place, patients can find plenty of help.
That's why you keep coming back to treatment.
We believe in building our clients up and loving them and supporting them and finding reasons to celebrate them.
And a different gateway, one with a clean ending.
Having something that brings you back to reality, something that grounds you so that it doesn't feel so treatment-like, is really important.
Transformation isn't always welcome.
Nobody in Texas talks about it, mentions it. The awareness is very, very low. People are very reluctant to consider it as a possibility, and I don't understand that.
Sarah Sturton is a nurse, a wife, a mom. She has lived in this North Austin home since she moved here.
In September, it will be 8 years.
But this past December,
Out of the blue one day in the restroom at work,
she noticed a visible swollen lymph node on her collarbone. As a nurse, this worried her.
I knew this was likely not a good sign.
After doctors took out 12 milliliters of fluid from the gland, a few days later, she received the worst news possible.
It was malignant.
Sarah has stage 4 lung cancer.
It was horrible.
But she had never smoked and had no history of cancer in her family. She was confused until she looked into other causes, specifically one from multiple medical studies.
It's very, very clear the #1 cause of lung cancer in non-smokers is radon exposure. This is just charcoal.
So she ordered a test kit and sent it off to a lab.
Instructions are very clear inside.
The results? Her home had more than 3 times the level of radon the EPA considers safe.
We literally threw some clothes in a bag and our toothbrushes and walked out the door in our pajamas at 10 o'clock at night. I said, I'm not spending another night in this house.
So what is radon? This radioactive gas is measured in picocuries per liter. You can't see it, you can't even smell it. And which homes are affected is seemingly random. Here's what can play a part: how the home was built, the material used, or piping issues. And the radon comes from the soil or material underneath the house.
Breathing in, sleeping in this environment, you don't want to ever be in a plume that's hazardous to your health.
David Burgos helped get the radon out of Sarah's house.
You never even know it's there.
He's a certified mitigator from Elgin, one of only 5 in all of Texas.
If there's more people doing it, if there's a market that would be helpful, we need to get more mitigators involved. We need to get more people trained.
Not enough mitigators isn't the only problem. While you expect to see a smoke detector in most Texas homes, you won't see many radon detectors. Because unlike 31 other states, Texas has no state or local laws regulating radon.
I don't understand why it's not part of a regular home inspection. I would really like to see the radon threat taken seriously in Texas.
Texas is considered to be a state that generally has low levels of radon. That does play a part in all of this. But resources to deal with radon have recently been cut. There used to be a state radon officer at the Texas Department of State Health Services. That person retired, and now resources have been shifted to a Texas Tech program. And for 15 years, the EPA provided that department with thousands of free radon test kits until 2013. Now, no more.
Testing is easy, testing is inexpensive.
At the same time, both the EPA and health services are pushing for more radon awareness.
It's just getting the word out, going out to different communities, hitting a large set of people, having people test their homes.
Even in areas where there's not a higher risk, like in Austin, people just need to understand the risk, and the risk is lung cancer.
Unfortunately for Sarah, she didn't know the risk, and she will never know how long the radon levels were that high.
Why this house? I have no idea.
And now she says she is leaning on prayer.
I hope to beat the odds. I mean, the 5-year survival rate is only 15%.
And this origami, made by her husband's coworkers, there's a belief that 1,000 paper cranes can make a wish come true. And that's giving Sarah hope for what lies ahead.
I've got my goal set on seeing my son graduate college, but it's really painful to try to think beyond that. Besides the sadness of leaving my husband alone, is that I'm not going to get to be a grandma.
In Austin, Jay Wallis, KVUE News.